Hello there, my darling. How are you? I hope you're having the most fabulous day wherever it is that you find yourself. This week, we're going to dive into a conversation about why you can't positive think your way out of self-doubt. This is something that I see a lot, especially with those people that are maybe newer to a personal development journey, maybe newer to their kind of exploration of what healing or self-growth looks like for them. And they come across the concept of affirmations and they hear things on social media that are kind of soundbite things. I am successful. I am confident. I am joyful. I am enough. And they dive all the way into those kinds of mind models, I guess you could call them, as a way to build that confidence or build that self-trust or build that feeling of enoughness, and then inevitably burn out of that because it's not working, right? There is a huge movement and it's called positive psychology, and it has so much depth and nuance, and there's so much in that whole field of psychology that has a lot of merit and a lot of we need to go there when it comes to the work that we're doing on ourselves out here in the world, right? But there is this kind of toxic positivity avenue that people can find themselves going down, where we think that we can just affirm is that a way of saying it? Affirm our negative thinking. And it just doesn't work that way. And there's a particular reason why it doesn't work to go about it in that particular way. And it's simply because your brain is conditioned to believe what it sees out here in the world, right? Your brain is conditioned to believe what you tell it, to believe the evidence and the proof that you give it about your worth, your value, your level of confidence, your level of joy, your level of success, what is available to you, what you're worthy of. It believes everything that you feed it when you feed it enough of the same messaging consistently. And therein lies the problem, right? Quick introduction, I'm Sabrina Militello. I am founder of Empower Her Coaching and a life and performance coach, all in my own right. And I really am here to empower you to change your life, to empower you to stop kind of second guessing your ability, stop second guessing your worth, stop thinking that maybe I'm never going to reach my full potential. Maybe that life that I want just isn't for me. My hope is that through the work we do here together, however you choose to have me in your ecosystem, is to negate that messaging and really empower you to step into everything that your life is meant to be through extraordinary levels of healing, extraordinary levels of growth, and this acceptance that your self-trust and your self-reverence is what the foundation has to be built on. So that's why these conversations exist. And I'm really hopeful that you're here on that journey with me to that end. All right. So the piece about your brain being conditioned, I think that's where a lot of people struggle, is because, you know, I've shared this with you before, and it's staggering really to think about the work that's been done on this particular subject matter, that a lot of people don't think that they have limiting beliefs, right? There's plenty of people that when they read things about limiting beliefs or they hear things about limiting beliefs being in the way of their growth, they immediately kind of poo-poo it and negate any weight to that idea, because to them, they don't have limiting beliefs. They just have beliefs. That's just what they believe. They believe it is true that they can never be a millionaire. They believe that it is true that they will never be able to get their health underneath their control. They believe that it is true that the messed up trauma in their family line, that's just how it is. There's nothing they can do about that. They believe these things to be true. But there's a difference between a fact and the truth, right? Your truth and my truth are completely different. And so when it comes to the work of really rewiring your mind for the success, the freedom, the healing, the joy, the confidence, the vibrancy, the vitality, the health, the happiness, the connection that you want, there is this undercurrent of rewiring your belief systems and questioning the beliefs that you have, the beliefs that you've always had, whether they are in fact the truth, or whether it's your truth that you can shift. Can you see the difference with that? And so I really want you to understand that you can't positive think your way to more self-trust. You can't positive think your way out of self-doubt. You can't positive think your way to healing. There has to be a full-on rewiring of your mind that has to occur. The extraordinary thing about this, and the thing that I really want you to take away from this kind of teaching, is that while that sounds hard, and it sounds maybe impossible, it is something that is available to you. There's a process that the brain goes through. It's a process called neuroplasticity. This is something that has been widely researched in neuroscience, as well as in positive psychology and these kinds of mind models of human behavior. And neuroplasticity basically says that the brain is pliable. The brain is malleable. The brain can change. Your brain can change, which means the beliefs that you have, the ways of thinking and the ways of behaving that have always been just how you are, it is possible to change those things. Your brain can carve out new neural networks and new pathways between thought and behavior, or stimulus and response, that is directed towards the quality of life that you do want to experience. But it does take intentional action. The reason why this is a challenging path to walk down is because this is not something that you kind of stumble into being better at, right? You can't just by mistake, by accident, make your way to better thinking and better behaviors and more positive, confident, joyful, trustful ways of being. You have to be intentional around the actions that will create that in your life. And it's that intentionality piece that I think people really struggle with. I saw it a lot in my own personal journey. I feel like I've lived 27 different lifetimes, if I'm honest, with, gaining over 100 pounds at university and then going through a 4-year walking through the fires of hell is what I can best equate to. The process of losing that 100 pounds only to gain almost half of that back again and go through the struggle of losing that in a healthy, sustainable way, and get into this place in my life now where I'm in the healthiest version of myself that I've ever been in before, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of it. And this is the work that got me there. It's the work that got me from a marriage that was hanging on by the flimsiest of threads to now where I feel so blessed to have the kind of love and connection that I do with my life partner. It got me from having no element or there was no piece of me that thought being a business owner was available to me. Being somebody who carved out her life based on what she wanted to create and put out into this world and the level of impact and influence that she wanted to have, I had no inkling that was available to me. To go from that to having built and is scaling 3 businesses and being in a financially free era of my life that it boggles my mind that this is available to me, because I grew up with strong belief systems that all my life was going to be was more of what I grew up around. I grew up as a the eldest of 3 children in a single parent household. We were one of the only Black families in a very white town. We were living off government benefits, very, very poor in an affluent white town, legit living on the other side of the tracks. Like, all I saw around me was evidence of lack and struggle, and there was nothing that told me that my life wasn't going to be more of the same. To go from that to where my life is now, where, like I said, I've built businesses, I am financially and location free. I have time freedom. I have an amazing marriage. I have beautiful relationships. I'm in the best health of my life, and I get to be here doing this work of empowering you to create whatever your impossible more is. That required rewiring my mind. It required intentional work on believing different stories. Because here's the thing, we've all got our sad struggle story, right? I just gave you a little kind of snippet into mine. We've all got one of those, every single one of us. I don't think there's any creature walking on this planet that doesn't have some kind of sad struggle story. The problem is too many people become almost addicted to that sad struggle story. I know that that was the case for me. I held on to my sad struggle story for so long because it was significant to me, right? It excused how my life was. It excused my obesity diagnosis. It excused struggling, living on paycheck to paycheck. It excused the kind of behaviors I had around members of the opposite sex. It excused what I tolerated in my friendships. It excused me not kind of living up to any potential that I may have shown in my life. I was able to be like, okay, that's great, but look at everything that I've been through, and look at everything that I've had to walk through, and look at all the things from my past, right? The trouble with that, there's so much wrong with that, but the trouble with that is if you're so addicted to your sad struggle story that you can't bring yourself to write a new one, then that story is the one that you're going to live out for the rest of your life. And I don't know about you, but for me, that just was no longer an option. I got to a point in my life where that was no longer an option. And so I had to walk through the really hard things of rewiring my belief systems, carving out a new narrative and a new story for my life, and deciding that I get to write that story in real time as I go. One of the things that I see a lot from my clients that I coach, as well as the women that I'm connected to in my group coaching programs, in my social media environments, in women that I come across just in everyday life, is a lot of them get stuck. And I don't know whether you can recognize maybe this is where you are yourself. They get stuck in a reality that is less than what they desire. And the feeling of stuckness is almost like quicksand, you know? I always think to that movie, The Never-Ending Story. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but where Atreyu gets stuck with his horse, Falcor. Is it Falcor his horse is? No, that's the dragon. Anyway, they get stuck in the quicksand and the horse gets dragged underneath, gets dragged and taken away. And Atreyu's really, really struggling to stay above ground. I think he holds onto a tree or something, and he's holding onto the reins of the horse, trying to pull his horse out of the quicksand, but it's just dragging him under. And I always picture that in my mind, that particular scene of the horse getting dragged underneath this sand. When I think of these women that are stuck, they're stuck in the story of their current reality, either because they're so, attached to it. Maybe they don't know who they would be without it, and that's where that attraction lies, or they just can't see the wood for the trees of how to possibly make it different. And so they get stuck and are getting dragged under. And if we don't have this moment, one clarifying moment of decision that is no longer going to be our reality, then that quicksand is going to eat you. It's going to eat you up. It's going to drag you down. The beautiful thing about life is that we get to write our story again, erase it, write it again, scratch out that page, turn to a new one, write it again, as many times as we want to. We get to reinvent or to reintroduce ourselves whenever we want to. In a moment, in a single moment of decision, we get to do that. And I wish, and my hope is that more women really, really take that on as a mantle for themselves. What is the story that I want to write if the current one that I'm living is not the one that I most desire? I get to write my story in real time. I'm not trying to get there. I'm not in kind of a hurry to have it all figured out. I understand that the beauty of the journey truly is in who you get to become in the process of it. And so this is it. Every day, this is it. Every day I get to spend time with you. I get to serve my clients when I'm on my one-on-one coaching sessions, when I'm in my group coaching calls. I get to be in the moments, living a reality that I once never could have even envisioned for myself. And that's the beautiful outcome when you decide, a single moment of decision, to stop allowing your old wiring to continue to write your narrative and your story moving forward. So what all of that has to do with that you can't positive think your way out of self-doubt is that it has to be intentional. This toxic positivity thing of we should just, you just be grateful for what you have. And if I just say I am confident enough times in the mirror, then one day I'll wake up and I'm ready to go crush the world. Like, we can't continue to buy into that narrative, because what it does is give us this false understanding that we can kind of trip our way into the life that we want. You can't trip your way into the life that you want. You have to build the life that you want. You have to create the life that you want. You have to be very intentional around your behaviors and your thinking to be able to carve out the life that you want. So it's not about positive thinking, it's about affirming action. And what I mean by affirming action is, if your thing is, I just want to feel more confident, what is an activity or an action that makes you feel more confident? Is it getting like your face made up and doing your hair cute before you walk out the door? Do that. Is it wearing colors? Not being drab and lackluster when you go to the grocery store, but wearing an outfit that makes you feel good. Do that. Maybe you wish you had more confidence on sales calls, or you have more confidence on social media because you really want to put yourself out there, your brand, your business, your product, your program, whatever it is. What makes you feel confident on camera? Maybe it is a full face of makeup and your power suit. Wear that to create your content. Just because I'm here in my flannel shirt and, just kind of going with it, doesn't mean that that's what it has to look like for you. I think part of the problem with the access that we all have to the lives of others in this day and age is that we can sometimes think that that's the way it has to look. If somebody that we admire and somebody that's doing the thing that we want to do, they do it in a particular way, we think that that's how it has to be done. And we negate the unique gifts that we have, the unique qualities that we have, our own personality and preferences, in favor of what looks right because they're doing it and they're killing it in that arena. No, do what feels good to you. Behave in the way that makes you feel confident. Show up in the way that makes you feel joyful. Do the things that bring you joy and vitality. Go out there and be in action around the things that make you feel purposeful and fulfilled. Aligned action, affirming action is what drives self-trust, self-confidence, joy, self-reverence. These are all things that you need to be able to carve out the life that you want. So stop thinking that if you were just more positive, then maybe things would be different, and start taking affirming action in the direction that you want your life to go. That's all I have for you, and I really hope that that was helpful. It turned into a little bit more of a kind of stream of consciousness than I was intending. I had some lessons that I wanted to take you through and a little exercise I wanted to take you through, but the way my thoughts were kind of downloading, I think I'll trust that and go with that. Hopefully there was something in there that I wasn't intending to say that you needed to hear, and I'll trust that that's exactly where we went and it was for a purpose. All right. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Perhaps consider subscribing to the channel. I would love that. Come find me on social media, on my email, and tell me what you got out of this episode, some things that you're working on. I would love to cheer for you as you work on all aspects of your self-growth and your healing and your journey to your success and your more. I'm definitely here for that. So until next time, have a great day.